So let's convert the ebook cover of CLOAK of Embers into the audiobook cover. The first thing to do will be to change the canvas size. When I make an ebook cover, I usually work in 2000 pixels by 3000 pixels, but an audiobook cover needs to be square, so we're going to convert it to 3000 pictures by 3000 pixels by 3000 pixels, and we do that by changing the canvas size. And it'll take a few seconds to grind through, and it will then convert to the new canvas size. And as we can see, we do have a little bit of work before us. This picture in the background, I'm actually quite fond of that picture. It's one of mine. I was driving around and I saw a building being torn down, so I stopped and took a picture of it and thought, this will be useful for a ebook cover someday, and it was. But what we need to do is we need to fix the layer masking on both the background and on the floor, and we'll also need to adjust the author and title marquees in the background that help the author name and the title pop. So let's take a look here. First thing to do is the dark backfill here. As you can see, that is currently in shape for an ebook, but we need to increase that to audiobook size. Unfortunately, that's easy to do. We just use the transform tool and drag that over, and there we go. Now the backfill is audiobook sized. Next up will be probably this floor. As you can see, that is the main background image of the wrecked building. Doesn't extend all the way down, and that is partly below Nadia here to provide the illusion of a floor. So I think what we'll try first is just expanding it and then seeing if we can layer mask it together with the other thing, the background picture. Yeah, that is starting to look, yeah, that looks more satisfactory. So let's zoom in a bit and see how that looks. We might have to adjust the masking here to make the seam look a bit better. So we'll select the layer mask and the brush tool and adjust that down. No, not quite right. Let's see if we adjust the size a bit here yet. Yes. Actually, no, I liked it the way it was before. We'll need to adjust the layer masking on the background image. So let's zoom up a bit. That's not it. That's it. That is actually, when you have a large project like this is 25 layers, and for some Photoshop projects, especially ones done by people who are a lot better at this than I am, can get in the hundreds of layers. It's sometimes very easy to get lost in which layer you're working in, so an easy way to figure out where you're at is to turn the visibility of individual layers on and off. And that is the clouds for the background in that sliver of the building up there. But the one we want right now is this one, because you can see that's where the weird looking seam is. So we'll add a layer mask So we've added a layer mask to the wrecked building. So now we're going to switch to the brush tool and see if we can make that blending look a little bit more natural. Yeah, as you can see, the seam there isn't quite so bad, and then it fits in better. Next up, let's see that layer, back dark fill, that is a 39% opacity layer to make the background look a bit darker, and that's still in ebook format, so we're just going to adjust that a bit. There we go. See this layer, we don't have to do anything with that. That is a color lookup layer that adds sort of a night cast to the background scene, so that's good. I don't think we'll have to do anything with the back glow layer. We may have to come back to it, but we'll see in a little bit. We do need to adjust this a little bit because, as you can see, there's sort of a hard seam there, and we don't want that. So we select the layer mask and switch to the brush tool and edit that a bit. Let's see. Do I want it there or move it over a little bit? Let's try moving it over a little bit and see how it looks. Yeah, that's a little better. I like that better. We will leave that there for now. See, that needs to be adjusted as well because, as you can see, there's a hard seam there. We don't want that. That looks bad, takes people out of the image. And it should be expanded a little bit to fill more of the background. A little more. Yeah, I like that. I don't like that sort of smudging in the corner, so I'm going to see if I can layer mask that out and if that looks better. Yeah, I like that. Maybe take that one out too. Yes, that looks good. All right. All right, I don't think we need to adjust anything with Nadia there. She looks good. That layer is just to add a layer of shadow to Nadia's boots so they don't look weird against the background of the text. The fireball is good. The energy effect around the fireball is good. The extra color that I added to create the illusion of light shining from the fireball on Nadia's face is good. The extra shadow layer there is good. This is the remaining problem, the title marquee. Because as you can see in the ebook, I did a sort of blurred marquee there to make the title stand out. And now that it's converted to an audiobook cover, it has a unpleasant hard edge there and an unpleasant hard edge there. So what we're going to do, we're just going to turn off the visibility on that layer. We're going to make a new layer where it is, call it Audio Title Marquee. And we're going to do that marquee there. Switch to the gradient tool with the fill option, fill that. Unselect, go to filter, then to blur, then to Gaussian blur, and 275. All right, that looks better. That might be a little too dark. Let's see, the original title marquee, the opacity was only 59%. So let's dial that down to 59% and see how that looks. That's pretty good. I might want it a little darker for the audiobook. Let's try it at 70. Yeah, I like it at 70. So I think we're going to leave that at 70. And now I think we're almost done. All we need to do is make sure that we have the narrator credit on the cover. And the narrator for this audiobook will be Hollis McCarthy, who's done the previous 9 Cloak Mage books. And she also did all the Kena audiobooks. So to save effort, what we're going to do is we're going to switch over to the audiobook cover of Ghost in the Siege. And we're just going to drag and drop the credit over to Cloak of Embers. Just got to adjust that position there. All right, do I like how that looks? Yes. All right, so I do believe that is it. I might adjust that position a little more. Yeah, that seems better. I believe we're done. That is the audiobook cover for Cloak of Embers, and that should be a good illustration of the process I use to convert a ebook cover to an audiobook cover.